I'd just like to ask all the people who are standing, it's to do with the carers in Ireland. There was a referendum there recently, and it was overwhelmingly rejected by the Irish people. And it seemed to be about taking mothers out. It became very kind of black and white, because people were saying it's like taking mothers out of the Constitution. But what really happened was it was going to affect other carers as well. And I'd like to know why people went along with that, what the different parties are doing for carers, and especially I'd like to focus on stay-at-home parents. And within childcare, they seem to be discriminated against. And what are you offering stay-at-home parents and carers to give them the choice in childcare to mind their own children? And what's the financial support for that, as well as, of course, what support for all forms of childcare? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Carton, taking the opposite direction.
Yeah, what a brilliant question, and thank you for asking it. And so carers, obviously a great topic at the moment, and for good reason as well. There's thousands of carers in Ireland. In many ways it's Ireland's hidden health service. It's saving the state 20 billion every single year. There's a means test which shouldn't exist. It's probably best described as a mean test rather than a means test. And also there's a gender equality issue as well, because 90% of carers in Ireland are female. And so a female's salary should not be dependent on the salary or the income of her spouse. So there's that moral component to it. So we're in favour of abolishing the means test, and the sooner that happens, the best. The better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so with regards to the recent referendums, I think it was disappointing to see that there wasn't further pushback against those. The idea of taking mother out of the Constitution, the whole aspect of durable relationships, which was poorly defined and came out afterwards. A lot of people were misled on the implications that would have in Irish law. In terms of carers, we really value the fact that stay-at-home parents, people who are looking after loved ones with a disability, are significantly undervalued. We want to see an end to means testing for carers, but we also want to see that the system of tax individualisation, which actually sees that if you're a family with dual income, you can earn more at a higher rate than a family where there's a single income. So this as well has a detrimental effect on families where one person within the family chooses to stay at home. And so a lot of the things kind of lip service to people with disabilities, the people that I'm meeting on the door, are feeling very, very underrepresented at the moment. And I think the referendum was indicative of that, taking away further responsibility from the government to take care of those individuals. Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to say that I am a carer now for around dementia since I left the court service. The care that it does, the means testing needs to be abolished completely. And it needs, the carers allowance needs to be raised to at least 350. Public times, that's what they deem. They give everyone 350. And since then, inflation has gone up. Like you're saving a lot of the government's money and the HSE's money by being a carer. It's a very, very tough job. In terms of homemakers, you also mentioned, I've written a homemaker's bill of €400 that they got passed the Ardèche this year that will take childcare and fuel, you know, give affordable money back to family life again, so people can have the option of having a family in this country. There's nobody's having. We're having one child on average, and everyone's up and leaving to have their kids. It's not right. It's a fundamental things that we should still have in our society. Thanks.
So I know the intention and the ambition with the proposed referendums at the time was to strengthen the position of people, and that wasn't the view taken by the public. And I think in terms of what I would like to see it do, what the Attorney General advice was at the time, that what the wording could be, ended up as two different things, and people had to say that their say was heard loud and clear. And I thought it was a great exercise in democracy in terms of that understanding of where that's at. In terms, so like, you know, the importance of, from my perspective, public policy should be about supporting parents who want to stay at home and rear their family, but also supporting those parents who want to go out and work and be, do that as well. Not to cast judgment on either side, but that the state will support both, because both are good in whatever circumstance people want to do. It's about supporting that. And in terms of the broader role of carers in general, we have taken a number of measures in the last government to support carers, and ultimately we do want to phase out the means test for carers in the next law. That would be our initiative for back in power.
Care comes in many forms, and that can be childcare, caring for an elderly parent or caring for a child who has a disability, or indeed a sibling who has a disability, and we need to do better in terms of supporting supports for those carers and caring for them. It's a red line issue for Fianna Fáil, for my party, in relation to eradicating the means test for carers. It is an absolute priority. We need to do it, we want to do it, and to be fair, many parties have taken that on. As chair of the Women's Caucus in the Oireachtas, that was an area that we prioritised last year and had a debate with both the Dáil and the Shónagh cross-party in relation to supporting carers through the carers strategy and eradicating the means test. In terms of childcare, in our manifesto we're very clear that we want the maximum that a family needs to pay for childcare is €200 a month. That would be through a mix of public and private, and we would also provide funding for capital bill for childcare where there's a lack of vision. The last point I'd make is, as chair of the
Fiona, sorry. Rules are rules.
Okay, no, but I ensured that a daycare, permanent daycare for dementia was available in the last 12 months.
Firstly, and very specifically in relation to the referendum on care, my party got it wrong. I didn't. I stood up even against my own party colleagues and took the stance of a no vote in relation to the referendum on care. I firmly and finally believe that that referendum was the government trying to absolve itself of the responsibility towards disabled people, very specifically in relation to the words that they used, like strive and try. In relation to, and I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit annoyed to hear government representatives talk about the fact that we need to remove the means test when we've only just had a budget, and it absolutely could have been removed. I think it was calculated that between 500 and 600 million, that was something that could have been done. I am a brother to an adult disabled person. My sister is going to be caring for him for the rest of her life, or his life, whichever comes first, and that absolutely needs to be supported to the greatest ability.
First and foremost, the first thing I'll say is yes, the referendum certainly was gone wrong, and that's one of the reasons why I left the party and I'm now an independent candidate. I believe when you're in the party you're whipped, and it's not always necessarily the right thing for the people in your constituency. Sometimes you have to stand up against party policy, and if you don't do that, then it's not going to work for your community. So I certainly feel we got that wrong. It actually galls me to sit here and listen to two Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil people here tonight and listen to them telling us we'll phase out the means test. The means test for carers has to be abolished. No phasing out. It has to go, and I will be looking to support whoever is going to make that go. I'm also dealing with Carers Ireland. I'm a former carer myself. I know how difficult it is to live on 219, because that's what it was when I was a carer. So it's absolutely disgraceful to think that people are expected to live in a cost of living on very little money, way, way below the living wage. So I want to see an improvement for carers, and that's where I'll be going. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's a priority that the pay for the carers is increased in Ireland, and because there are so many parents who are actually taking care of kids with special needs, or sometimes it's even by choice that you want to stay at home and take care of your child, and I think they should be supported. Definitely there should be more pay to them, and because there's a need for it. Calling so many doors, I've seen children with so many special needs, and their parents cannot just go to work because of intellectual disability and many other factors. I think they need to be supported. They are part of our community, and they definitely need our support. Thank you.
There is no doubt in my mind that the referendum was a wake-up call, not just for political parties, but the whole political system in this country, because we did not listen. And I think every political party needs to hold their hand up to that, because every door, or not every door, probably every second door I work or knock on, and have knocked on today in Newbridge, I get people who are either caring or know someone who's caring. And the means test should be gone. There's no point in holding the means test. There's no talking about holding this means test anymore, because I met women today, and as has been said, the majority of carers are women who cannot go to work, who have to give up work because they're caring 24/7 for their loved one. And they want to do that. And they are doing that, and they are working. They are not doing anything else. They're not looking for a social welfare payment. They are working to mine and saving the state 20 billion. The means test needs to be gone. We need to have a payment, and that's what we're saying, a proper payment, like has been said here, not the payment that's there at the moment, because it's not viable for those that are caring for their loved one. And when you add in, and here's the problem, when you add in that the majority of those are also paying privately for 1,200 for care, that is the issue. Thank you very much.